They thought you would quit, but the strongest payback is proving you were only getting started. Let that line sink in for a second. Think about the people who didn't believe in you, the ones who mocked your efforts, the ones who were secretly hoping you would fail. They built an image of you in their mind, weak, lazy, ordinary. And the greatest way to shatter that image is not with arguments, not with shouting, not with revenge filled with anger. The greatest way is by building yourself so strong, so disciplined, so focused, that your success becomes undeniable. Every time you choose growth over excuses, you are rewriting their story about you. Every morning you rise and push forward, you are showing them that their opinion means nothing. Real power comes when you stop feeding their doubt and start feeding your goals. When you do this daily, something incredible happens. Their hate shrinks, their voices fade, and your results speak louder than anything they could ever say. This message is for anyone who has felt underestimated, judged, or overlooked. Stay here, because I'm going to show you how to turn that pain into strength and build a future so powerful that your enemies disappear on their own. Number 1, prove your enemies wrong by working harder every day. You know, the truth is, nothing will silence an enemy more than seeing you rise higher than they ever imagined. Not with words, not with anger, but with results. And results come from one thing: hard work every single day. Revenge is not about hurting them back. Revenge is not about wasting energy on proving them right or wrong with arguments. Revenge is about you becoming so strong, so consistent, so dedicated to your daily progress that they can no longer touch your life. Think about it. When someone doubts you, when someone disrespects you, when someone says you are not capable, what can you do? You can get angry, you can shout back, you can sit in the corner and complain, or you can get to work. When you work harder every day, you build something that no enemy can take away from you. You build character, you build self-respect, you build proof, and proof is louder than opinions. Working harder is not about comparing yourself to others. It is not about measuring how much you did versus what they did. It is about measuring yourself today against who you were yesterday. That is where the revenge begins. If yesterday you wasted hours scrolling through distractions, and today you spent that time learning, building, or growing, then you are already proving them wrong. If yesterday you quit when it got tough, and today you push through one more hour, one more set, one more page, then you are already taking back the power. Enemies live off your weakness. They thrive when you give up. They laugh when you stay stuck. They watch when you make excuses. But when you decide to put in effort every day, when you decide that even on the worst days you will keep moving, that is when you take away their control. Nothing bothers your enemies more than your persistence. Now, here is where psychology comes in. The human brain loves comfort. It loves the easy path. It loves the familiar. That is why most people don't work hard consistently. They work in bursts. They work when motivation is high. They work when someone is watching. But the moment the feelings fade, they stop. You must train your mind differently. You must build a daily system where hard work is no longer a choice. It is simply who you are. That is how you win. That is how you show every doubter that you cannot be broken. Every time you show up, you're rewiring your mind. You're teaching yourself discipline. You're teaching yourself to rise above emotions and focus on actions. And discipline will always beat talent, because your enemies may have talent, they may have luck, they may even have people cheering for them. But if you outwork them every single day, they cannot outlast you. Consistency is the ultimate revenge. Let me give you something practical here. If you want to work harder every day, do not start by thinking about a massive mountain of work. Start small, but do it daily. If you commit to reading 10 pages a day, do it every day. If you commit to exercising 20 minutes a day, do it every day. If you commit to waking up 1 hour earlier, do it every day. These small acts stack up, and over time, they create massive change. Your enemies may not notice the small steps, but eventually, the results will be too big to ignore. Your enemies expect you to fail. That is why working harder daily hurts them the most. They expect you to quit after a week. They expect you to slow down after a month. They expect you to break when life gets heavy. But imagine their faces when you are still standing, still pushing, still growing. Imagine what happens when they realize nothing can shake you. That is real revenge. But here's the deeper truth. Working harder every day is not only about them. It is about you. Because in this process, you will discover your own strength. You will learn that you can handle more than you ever thought. You will discover the pride that comes from knowing you gave everything you had. That pride cannot be taken away. That self-respect cannot be destroyed. And that is the kind of victory that lasts a lifetime. Think about how good it feels when you end your day knowing you gave it everything. Your body may be tired, your mind may be stretched, but your spirit feels alive. Compare that to the emptiness of wasting time, the frustration of procrastination, the regret of quitting. Which one do you want to feel? Every day you choose, and every day your choice is shaping the life you are creating. Working harder does not mean destroying yourself. It does not mean running until you collapse or working without rest. It means showing up with focus, with energy, with a clear reason. It means using your hours wisely instead of wasting them on distractions. It means giving priority to what matters most, not to what feels easy. Hard work is not punishment. Hard work is freedom. It is freedom from regret. It is freedom from dependence. It is freedom from the chains of your enemy's opinions. Now, many people say, but it's hard, it's boring, it's tiring. Of course it, Island, that's the point. If it were easy, everyone would do it. And if everyone did it, there would be no separation between the weak and the strong, between the talkers and the doers. Hard work is the filter. It is the process that reveals who truly wants change. Your enemies are not willing to go through it. That's why they mock you. That's why they try to distract you. That's why they try to pull you down. They want you on their level. But if you are willing to endure the discomfort of working harder every day, you will rise above them. Here's another psychological key. Progress fuels motivation. People wait for motivation to work. That is backward. You work first, and then the motivation comes. If you wake up tired and you move your body anyway, you will feel the energy after. If you don't feel like writing, but you write one page, the ideas will come. Action produces emotion, not the other way around. That is why working harder every day becomes easier once you start. It builds momentum, and momentum is powerful. Now think about this. How much time have you already wasted? How many days have gone by where you could have pushed a little more? You cannot get those days back. But you can use that feeling of regret as fuel. You can decide right now that you will not waste another day. That decision alone can change the entire direction of your life, because life is built one day at a time. If you win today, and then tomorrow, and then the next, you build a chain of victories that no enemy can break. Do not think about years ahead. Do not think about decades ahead. Think about today. Did you work harder today than you did yesterday? Did you keep the promise you made to yourself? Did you push when it was tempting to quit? That is the real scoreboard. And when you win enough days in a row, the results will take care of themselves. Your enemies may have laughed at you in the past. They may have celebrated your failures. But the day will come when your success is undeniable. And that day will not be a surprise to you, because you will know how much effort you put in. You will know how many times you stayed disciplined. You will know how much sacrifice you made. And that inner knowing is the sweetest victory of all. So what does it mean to prove your enemies wrong? It means stop wasting words. Stop seeking validation. Stop trying to convince anyone. Start working. Start building. Start stacking proof every single day. The more consistent you are, the less you need to explain. People can argue with your opinions, but they cannot argue with your results. And remember this, the person you become through daily hard work is far more powerful than any revenge you could plan. Because eventually, you will not even care about your enemies. Their voices will fade. Their presence will shrink. Their names will disappear from your mind. And all that will remain is the stronger, wiser, more capable version of you. That is true revenge. Not only proving them wrong, but proving yourself right. So today, commit. Commit to working harder than yesterday. Commit to pushing past comfort. Commit to proving your enemies wrong by building a life they cannot ignore. Do it not out of hate, but out of love for yourself and the future you want. Every day you show up, you are taking back your power. Every day you work harder, you are building a life that is unshakable. And one day, when you look back, you will realize that your enemies did not break you. They built you, because their doubt became your fuel, their hate became your reason, and your results became your revenge. That is the psychology of victory. That is the strategy of revenge. Not with anger, not with words, with action, with effort, with persistence, with proof. Work harder every day and watch how fast your enemies fade away. Number 2, build unstoppable strength by showing up without excuses. Strength is not built in comfort, and it is not built in words. It is built in the quiet decision to show up, especially on the days when excuses feel louder than determination. You cannot become unstoppable if you keep finding reasons to step aside. Excuses may feel harmless at first, but over time, they weaken your spirit, they eat at your confidence, and they steal the future that belongs to you. If you want real strength, the kind that cannot be shaken by critics, disappointments, or failures, then you must learn to stand up and show up every single time without allowing excuses to have power over you. Think about what excuses really are. They are comfortable lies we tell ourselves to avoid discomfort. They are the soft pillows for the lazy mind, the easy escape for the tired body, and the false justification for the quitter's heart. And every time you accept an excuse, you teach your mind that comfort is more important than progress. That is how strength is lost. On the other hand, every time you refuse an excuse and choose to act anyway, you strengthen the muscle of discipline. That is how unstoppable strength is built. Strength is not about how much you can lift or how far you can run. Strength is about your ability to stay consistent with your commitments. It is about showing up to your work when you feel tired. It is about training your body when it is easier to stay in bed. It is about reading, learning, and growing when distractions are calling your name. True strength is not built in the spotlight. It is built in the shadows, where nobody is clapping, where nobody is watching, where the only competition is the person in the mirror. Excuses come in many forms. They sound like, "I'll start tomorrow," or "I'm too busy," or "I don't feel ready." They are persuasive because they make sense in the moment. But here's the truth. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. Busy is an excuse for poor priorities, and ready is a state you create by taking action. If you give into these lies, they will own you. If you crush them with action, you will own your life. Now imagine this. You wake up tired, you feel drained, and your mind whispers, "Stay in bed, you deserve it." But instead, you rise, you lace your shoes, and you step into the day with action. That moment, that small victory, is how strength is created. It is not the size of the task, it is the decision to win over the excuse. Multiply that decision by hundreds of days, and you become unrecognizable. That is how unstoppable strength is built, not by doing one big thing, but by refusing thousands of small excuses over time. When you begin showing up without excuses, your entire life changes. Your self-respect grows, because you know you can trust yourself. And when you trust yourself, you no longer fear challenges. You no longer hide from difficulty. You walk into it with confidence, because you know you will not back down. People see this in you. They see it in the way you carry yourself, in the way you speak, in the way you stay calm under pressure. That is real strength, the kind that cannot be faked. Psychology tells us that habits shape identity. Every action you repeat becomes a vote for the kind of person you are becoming. If you give in to excuses every day, you are casting votes for weakness. If you show up without excuses every day, you are casting votes for strength. Over time, the identity becomes permanent. You either become the kind of person who always finds reasons not to, or the kind of person who never needs a reason, because showing up is simply who you are. This is why you must be ruthless with excuses. Excuses are not harmless. They rob you silently. They steal opportunities. They destroy potential. They keep you stuck in the same cycle while time keeps moving forward. Look back at the moments when you made excuses in the past. What did they give you? Maybe comfort for a few minutes, maybe a little relief, but in the end, they left you with regret. Compare that to the moments when you showed up despite everything. They gave you pride. They gave you progress. They gave you proof that you are stronger than your feelings. Strength is not about perfection. You will have days where you slip. You will have moments where you lose focus. But the difference between the strong and the weak is that the strong return quickly. They do not let one mistake become a lifestyle. They refuse to let excuses pile up. They cut them off early. You must treat excuses like fire. If you let it spread, it will burn everything. If you put it out quickly, you remain in control. Every time you face an excuse, you are standing at a fork in the road. One path leads to growth, the other to stagnation. One path builds your strength, the other weakens it. And the choice is made in seconds. You must decide quickly, because hesitation is the soil where excuses grow. If you hesitate, the mind will start convincing you. That is why action must be immediate. When the alarm rings, get up. When it is time to work, start. When it is time to train, move. Do not wait for the perfect feeling. Act, and the feelings will follow. There is a powerful satisfaction in knowing you showed up even when you didn't want to. It builds a deep sense of pride that nothing else can replace. You walk taller, you feel stronger. You know you have control over your life. That feeling is worth more than the comfort of any excuse. That feeling is what separates the average from the unstoppable. And here's something else. Your enemies, your doubters, the ones who don't believe in you, they expect you to make excuses. They count on it. They expect you to quit halfway. They expect you to stop when things get uncomfortable. By refusing excuses, by showing up relentlessly, you break their expectations. You take away their predictions. You make them powerless. There is no sweeter revenge than proving that no obstacle, no discomfort, no excuse can keep you down. Building unstoppable strength is not a gift. It is not a talent. It is a daily practice. It is forged in small decisions, repeated consistently. It is choosing work over comfort, growth over distraction, progress over procrastination. It is about keeping your promises to yourself, no matter what the day brings. When you stack enough of those decisions, you become unstoppable. Nothing can buy that strength. Nothing can fake it. It must be earned, and once you earn it, nobody can take it from you. Think of all the people who live in regret. They had dreams, but they let excuses steal them. They had opportunities, but they chose comfort instead. Do not join them. Do not let excuses rob your life. Every day, you have a chance to add one more brick to your foundation of strength. Every day, you have a chance to prove you are stronger than your doubts. Every day, you have a chance to show up without excuses and take another step toward the life you want. Strength is built slowly, but it is felt deeply. And once you build it, you become a force that cannot be ignored. You become the person who inspires others, not because of what you say, but because of what you do. People respect strength. People follow strength. People cannot deny strength. And the way to get there is simple. Show up without excuses every day, no matter how you feel, no matter what stands in your way. So decide today. Excuses will not own you. Comfort will not control you. Fear will not stop you. You will build unstoppable strength, not by waiting for the perfect time, not by waiting for motivation, but by taking action now and refusing to back down tomorrow. Show up, do the work. Keep showing up, keep working, and one day you will look back and realize that nothing and no one could stop you. That is unstoppable strength. That is living without excuses. And that is the kind of life that proves you are always stronger than every obstacle in your path. Number 3, turn your anger into daily actions that create power. Anger is one of the most powerful emotions we feel. It burns in the chest. It tightens the jaw. It races through the body like fire. But here's the problem. Most people let anger control them instead of using it. They yell, they break down. They throw away their discipline, and they lose themselves in the heat of the moment. That is wasted energy. Because anger, when left wild, destroys. But when anger is directed into consistent daily action, it becomes fuel that builds power, drive, and progress. When you feel anger, Your body is telling you something. It is saying there is a standard that was broken, a value that was challenged, a dream that was attacked. That surge of emotion can be the signal you need to rise higher. Instead of lashing out, you can pause and ask, what can I do with this energy right now? That shift alone can change your life. It moves anger from being destructive to being constructive. Anger has ruined relationships, careers, and lives because people never learned to channel it. But history shows us that some of the strongest breakthroughs, revolutions, and achievements came because someone turned their frustration into relentless action. You may not be leading a movement, but you are leading your own life. And every day you will face moments that stir up anger. The question is, will you waste it or will you use it? Imagine this. You are angry because someone doubted you. Instead of shouting at them or replaying the conversation in your head, you take that anger and put it into your workout. You lift heavier, you run faster, you push longer. In that moment, you are no longer just angry. You are building strength. Or maybe you are angry at how your life looks right now. Instead of sinking into self-pity, you grab a notebook, you write down a new plan, and you start executing. That is the transformation. Every drop of anger is poured into something that moves you forward. There is a psychological truth here. Energy is neutral until you give it direction. Anger by itself is not good or bad. What you do with it decides the outcome. You can let it burn bridges, or you can let it build foundation. That is your choice. And the best way to choose wisely is to have a system ready. When you feel the anger rise, know exactly what action you will take. It could be training, studying, creating, building, or even cleaning up your environment. The point is to never let anger sit idle. When anger has no outlet, it festers. It becomes resentment. It eats away at confidence and turns into bitterness. People who never learn to use their anger end up living small, blaming others, and repeating the same stories of pain. But those who channel anger burst it into momentum. They take that spark and light a fire under their goals. They show up stronger the next day. They commit harder to their routines. They push themselves into progress. There is also a hidden gift in anger. It shows you what you care about. You do not get angry over things that mean nothing to you. If betrayal makes you angry, it means loyalty is important to you. If disrespect fires you up, it means you value dignity. If failure angers you, it means success matters deeply. That is valuable information. Instead of fighting the anger, study it. Use it to clarify what you want. Then align your actions to protect and grow those values. Daily action is the key here. Anger is a powerful emotion, but emotions fade. If you rely only on the burst of anger, you will quit once it cools down. That is why you must build habits that turn that temporary fire into lasting fuel. Set routines that lock in your progress. Maybe it is an early morning workout, daily journaling, or a set time to build your skills. Each time anger rises, let it remind you to return to those routines with even more intensity. Think of anger as an alarm clock. It wakes you up, but what you do after you get up is what counts. You can hit snooze and go back to the same life, or you can rise and start moving towards something greater. Each time anger shows up, you have a chance to grow stronger. That is how you create power, not once, but every single day. Some people waste anger on arguments. They spend hours trying to convince others of their worth. That is weakness disguised as strength. Real power is not in shouting back. Real power is in doing the work so well that there is no argument left. When your results speak, anger is no longer a weapon against you. It is a weapon for you. Turning anger into power also means being honest with yourself. Are you angry at others, or are you angry at yourself? Sometimes the truth is that our frustration comes from knowing we could do more, but haven't. That kind of anger can be the most powerful of all if you do not run from it. Use it as a mirror. Let it issue into discipline. Let it demand that you finally live up to your potential. When you begin turning anger into action, you will notice a shift. You will feel calmer, even when chantels hit. Not because you no longer feel anger, but because you know how to use it. You will walk with more confidence, because you know no emotion can control you anymore. And you will build a reputation for being someone who transforms negativity into productivity. That kind of reputation makes you unshakable. It is important to remember that anger is energy, and energy must be managed wisely. Too much uncontrolled, and you burn out. Too little, and you stagnate. The balance is in steady daily use. When you feel the heat of anger, instead of exploding, you distribute it into the work, a little into your body, a little into your goals, a little into your learning. Slowly, that energy reshapes your entire life. You may have people in your life who try to provoke you. They push your buttons. They want to see you lose control. Nothing frustrates them more than seeing you channel that anger into building yourself stronger. They expect an outburst, but instead they watch you progress. That is not only discipline, it is strategy. Because the best to respond to those who want to see you fall is to rise higher than they ever thought possible. Over time, this practice turns into a strength of character. You will no longer fear anger. You will no longer see it as a weakness. You will see it as a reminder that you are alive, that you care, you still have fight left in you. And with discipline, that fight will not be wasted on empty battles. It will be invested in the only battle that matters, the one between who you are and who you can be. So the next time you feel that familiar fire inside, do not waste it on words. Do not throw it away on pointless arguments. Stop, breathe, and choose. Pick an action that builds, not destroys. Pick a habit that strengthens, not weakens. Pick a direction that leads, not trap. Day by day, anger becomes less of a curse and more of a blessing. Day by day, your actions create a life of power that no enemy, no critic, no obstacle can erase. Because in the end, power is not given, it is created. And one of the strongest fuels you have been given is anger. Use it, direct it, control it, transform it into daily actions that stack up into strength, confidence, and freedom. That is how anger becomes your ally. That is how you take control of your life. And that is how you turn every moment of frustration into the driving force behind your greatest victory. Number 4, rise early every morning and take charge of life. The first victory of the day is won the moment you decide to rise early. That single choice changes the entire tone of your life. Waking up before the world demands your attention gives you time, control, and clarity. It is not only about getting out of bed earlier, it is about taking charge of your hours instead of being dragged through them. When you rise early, you claim the day before anyone else does. And in that quiet space, you find the power to design the life you want. Most people start their mornings in chaos. They wake up late, they rush, they check their phones, they let the outside world dictate how they feel. From the very beginning, they are behind. And when you start behind, you spend the whole day trying to catch up. That is why rising early is so powerful. It breaks that cycle. It allows you to lead instead of follow. It gives you the chance to set your own pace and focus on what matters before distractions take over. The psychology behind early rising is simple but profound. Your brain is freshest in the morning. Your willpower is at its highest. The world is quieter. You can think clearly without interruption. Those early hours are pure gold for building yourself, because nobody is pulling you in different directions. You own that time completely. And when you own your morning, you own your life. When you rise early, you are not just gaining hours, you are gaining control over yourself. You are training discipline. You are proving that you are stronger than comfort, stronger than the temptation to stay in bed, stronger than laziness. Each morning you win this battle. You strengthen your confidence. You tell yourself, I am the kind of person who does what needs to be done. That belief alone reshapes your future. Taking charge of life starts with taking charge of time. Time is life's most valuable resource, and most people waste the best hours of the day sleeping through them. But those who rise early invest those hours in their goals. They read, they train, they plan, They build. They use that time to sharpen themselves so they can handle the rest of the day with focus and strength. This is not about simply waking up early for the sake of it. It is about using that time with purpose. Imagine waking up while the world is still quiet. The air feels fresh, the streets are calm, and there is no rush. In that silence, you take time to move your body, clear your mind, and set your intentions. You are not reacting to life. You are directing it. That small practice, repeated every morning, builds a sense of order and control that carries into everything else you do. You walk into your work with focus. You speak with confidence. You handle challenges with calm. It all begins with how you start the day. There's also a deep emotional shift that happens when you rise early. You feel ahead. You feel accomplished before the day has even begun. While others are still fighting with the rare clock, you have already created progress. That feeling of being ahead stays with you. It pushes you to keep moving forward. It gives you momentum, and momentum is one of the most powerful forces in life. But rising early requires commitment. It will not happen by accident. The body will resist. The mind will argue. Comfort will whisper that you deserve more sleep. This is where discipline takes over. You must maziv the night before that you will wake up early. You must prepare yourself mentally and physically. You must remind yourself why it matters. And then when the alarm rings, you must rise without hesitation. Do not give yourself time to negotiate. Get up and move. The more often you win this decision, the easier it becomes. Do not underestimate the small victories. Waking up early may seem simple, but it is the foundation greatness. It sets the tone for your entire life. If you can master your mornings, you can master anything. Because discipline in the first hour leads to discipline in every hour. And discipline is what separates the dreamers from the doers. When you take charge of your mornings, you also take charge of your mind. You have time to feed it with knowledge. Instead of, you can read, reflect, prepare. You can think about your goals instead of reacting to problems. You can create a vision for the day instead of being pushed around by circumstances. This mental preparation makes you stronger, calmer, and more focused throughout the day. Rising early is also a reminder that life is short. Every hour you waste in bed is an hour of life you will never get back. And the truth is, you do not need more time. You need to use your time better. Rising early is the simplest way to add hours of focus, clarity, and growth to your life without waiting for anything else to change. People often say they don't have time for their goals. They want to exercise, but they are too busy. They want to read, but they are too tired. They want to build something, but the day gets away from them. Rising early solves this. It creates time. It removes the excuse. It shows you that the hours were always there. You just weren't using them. Taking charge of life is not about waiting for the right opportunity. It is about creating the right habits. Rising early is one of the most powerful habits you can build. It teaches you to lead yourself before you lead anything else. It gives you the chance to live on your terms, not on the terms of others. And it proves every single morning that you are in control of your future. The reward for this discipline is freedom. Freedom from rushing. Freedom from chaos. Freedom from regret. You no longer feel trapped in a cycle of being late, unprepared, and overwhelmed. You move with intention. You act with purpose. You live with clarity. That is the life most people dream of. And it begins with one simple habit: rising early and taking charge of your day before anyone else can. Do not wait for motivation to wake you up. Motivation fades. Discipline is the decision to rise, no matter how you feel, no matter what excuses come up, no matter how tempting it is to stay comfortable. And discipline always pays off. It may not feel easy at first, but over time, it becomes second nature. You will no longer struggle to wake up early. It will become who you are. Someone who takes charge of life from the very first hour. Every great achievement is built on small daily choices. And one of the greatest choices you can make is to claim your morning. The earlier you rise, the more control you have, the more progress you create, and the more power you gain over your roof. This is not theory. It is practice. It is simple, but it is life-changing. So decide today that you will no longer surrender your mornings to excuses. Decide that you will rise early, not just once, not just when you feel like it, but every single day, and decide that you will use that time to build, to grow, and to take charge of your life. Because when you win the morning, you win the day. And when you win enough days, you win your life. Number 5. Push yourself further today and crush all hidden fears. Fear hides in places you don't always notice. It shows up in hesitation and doubt, in the quiet voice that tells you to wait, to stop, to play it safe. Most people live under the control of these hidden fears without realizing it. They make choices that are smaller than their potential. They settle for less because fear whispers that more is risky. But if you want to take back your life, if you want to step into your full strength, you must push yourself further today and crush those fears. Before they crush you, pushing yourself further means refusing to stay in the same place. It means doing the thing that makes you uncomfortable, even when it feels heavy. Growth never happens in comfort. The mind may try to protect you by saying, don't go too far. Don't risk too much. Don't step out. But that voice is fear disguising itself as logic. The truth is, progress is on the other side of that resistance. Every time you step past fear, you expand what you're capable of. Fear often hides behind excuses. It sounds like I don't have time, or I'll start when things are better, or I'm not ready yet. None of these are true. They are just softer ways of saying, I'm afraid. Afraid of failing. Afraid of being judged. Afraid of discovering that you're not as strong as you thought. But here is the truth. You do not get stronger by avoiding fear. You get stronger by facing it. You must treat fear as a signal, a marker that tells you this is the direction you need to go. When you push yourself further today, you prove to yourself that fear does not own you. Imagine the power of ending the day, knowing you did the thing you once avoided. That feeling builds self-respect. It tells your mind, I am capable of more than I believed. And once you experience that, fear loses its grip. It no longer feels permanent. It becomes smaller, weaker, easier to crush the next time. Fear grows when you feed it with inaction. The longer you wait, the bigger it gets. The more you avoid, the stronger it feels. But when you act quickly, when you move forward without giving fear time to grow, it shrinks. This is why hesitation is dangerous. The longer you sit with fear, the more convincing it becomes. The faster you step forward, the faster it disappears. Action is the weapon that kills fear. Hidden fears are not always obvious. Sometimes they appear as perfectionism, the need to have everything ready before you begin. Sometimes they appear as procrastination, convincing you to delay until tomorrow. Sometimes they appear as comfort, telling you that you don't need to push harder. The way to crush them is not with endless thinking, but with immediate action. Do the thing you fear, and the fear dissolves. Pushing yourself further does not mean giant leaps every day. It means adding just a little more effort, a little more courage, a little more risk than yesterday. If you ran a mile yesterday, run 1.5 today. If you spoke up once in a meeting, speak up twice today. If you read 10 pages yesterday, read 15 today. These small pushes create breakthroughs. They compound, and over time, they crush the hidden fears that once held you back. Your yard grows stronger when you push it beyond its limits. The same is true for your mind. Every time you push past fear, you build mental toughness. You prove that discomfort will not break you. You show yourself that you can handle pressure, that you can walk into uncertainty and still come out stronger. That toughness is what separates those who succeed from those who stay stuck. Most people never push far enough to see what they're truly capable of. They stop at the first sign of fear, so they never discover their real potential. But you have more inside you than you think. The only way to find it is to go beyond the fear. That is where your true power lives. That is where your best self is waiting. Taking control of fear requires honesty. You must ask yourself, what am I avoiding right now? The answer will reveal the fear you need to crush. It could be a conversation you've been putting off, a goal you've been delaying, a decision you've been scared to make. Whatever it is, today is the day to face it. Do not give fear another day of your life. Every time you crush a hidden fear, your confidence grows. Confidence does not come from motivational words. It comes from action. It comes from stepping forward when you feel afraid, and proving to yourself that you can handle it. That self-trust is priceless. It carries into every area of your life. You walk taller, you think clearer, you act bolder, and people can feel it. They see the strength in you because you are no longer controlled by fear. Do not wait for fear to disappear before you act. It will not. Fear never goes away completely. The secret is not eliminating fear, but mastering it. Feel it, acknowledge it, and then move anyway. The courage is not in being fearless. The courage is in acting, even when fear is present. That is what makes you unstoppable. Your enemies, your critics, even your own doubts, they expect you to stay small. They expect you to stay in the cage. Fear has built for you, but imagine the shock when you break through it. Imagine the silence when you rise beyond the limits they thought you had. That is real revenge. Not by fighting them, but by crushing the fears that once held you down and building a life they cannot deny. When you wake up tomorrow, remind yourself that fear will be waiting. It will try to guide your decisions. It will try to limit your actions. It will try to keep you comfortable, but you are a runner. You have the choice to push yourself further, to take one more step, to demand more of yourself than yesterday. Do this often enough, and you will transform. The fears that once looked unbreakable will seem laughable. The limits that once felt heavy will feel small, and the life that once seemed impossible will become your reality. The future belongs to those who act in spite of fear. It belongs to those who wake up and decide that excuses, doubts, and hesitation will not win. It belongs to those who push further every single day, who take the fear that hides in the corners of the mind and crush it with action. That can be you. You do not need permission. You do not need approval. You need courage, and courage grows every time you step forward. So today, push yourself further. Take that extra step. Do the thing you have been avoiding. Crush the fear that has been hiding in your mind. And tomorrow, do it again. Build the habit of courage and watch your life changes. Because once fear no longer controls you, nothing can stop you. That is the moment you become powerful. That is the moment you truly take charge of your life. And that is the moment you realize the only limits that ever existed were the ones fear tried to convince you were. Number 6, outgrow their hate by focusing fully on your goals. Hate is a heavy thing, but it is not your burden to carry. When people direct hate toward you, it says more about them than it does about you. Their bitterness, their jealousy, their negativity, it all belongs to them. But here's the danger. If you spend your time fighting their hate, if you waste your energy trying to answer it, you let them win. The way you take power back is by refusing to be pulled into their darkness. The way you rise above is by focusing so completely on your own goals that their hate no longer matters. Your goals are the roadmap to your future. They are the proof that you are living for something bigger than opinions, gossip, or criticism. When you give your energy to your goals, you have no energy left to waste on hate. That is how you outgrow it. You don't fight it. You don't argue with it. You build such a strong direction for your life that their voices fade into the background. Every minute you give to hate is a minute stolen from your growth. Think about how many people spend hours replaying insults in their minds, thinking about what someone said, crafting responses in their head. All that time could have been invested in building skills, in training the body, in creating opportunities. Hate is a distraction. Goals are the cure. Once you decide your goals matter more, you shift from reaction to creation. Focusing fully on your goals requires clarity. You must know exactly what you want, why you want it, and what actions you will take to get there. Vague goals will not protect you from hate. Clear, specific, powerful goals. When you wake up every morning with a plan, when you have work that excites you and challenges you, hate becomes irrelevant. You don't have time for it. You don't have space for it. Your attention is locked on something greater. People who hate you want one thing: your attention. They want you to look their way, to give them energy, to show that they matter in your world. When you deny them that by staying focused on your mission, you starve their power. You show them that they cannot control your emotion. You demonstrate that their negativity has no influence on your path. That is the sweetest revenge. Not lowering yourself to their level, but outgrowing them completely. Now here is the truth. Staying focused on your goals will not be easy. Hate is loud. It demands to be noticed, but you must build mental strength. You must train yourself to redirect attention every time hate tries to steal it. When you hear their words, remind yourself of your goals. When you feel their negativity, channel it into your work. Every time hate tries to pull you down, let it be the reminder, rise higher. There is something deeply empowering about proving your commitment to your goals. It builds a sense of pride that hate cannot touch. When you accomplish something you set out to do, you don't need anyone's approval. You don't need validation. You have proof inside yourself that you can achieve what you decide. That proof makes you untouchable. It makes their hate look small, weak, and meaningless. Outgrowing hate also means surrounding yourself with better influence. If you spend your time in the company of people who lift you, who encourage you, who share your vision, hate from the outside loses its sting. It cannot break through the shield of positive energy you build around yourself. That is why you must choose your circle carefully. Spend more time with people who challenge you. You stay on track, and less time with those who try to poison your focus. Focusing fully on your goals is also about building habits that support them. Goals without daily action are only wishes. Hate can knock down wishes, but it cannot knock down discipline. Discipline is stronger than emotion. When you have a system, waking early, working consistently, practicing your craft, improving every beat, hate has no place to land. You are too busy moving forward to look back. Remember, hate is temporary. People move on. They forget. They shift their attention. But your goals are permanent. They stay with you. They shape who you become, which deserves your energy, something that fades in days, or something that will define your life. The choice is clear. Choose goal, choose growth, choose the life you are building over the noise that tries to distract you. It takes courage to stay focused when others attack. It takes strength to stay silent when you want to respond. But that is what maturity is. Choosing the future over the moment. Your energy is precious. Do not waste it defending yourself against those who will never understand you. Use it to build, to grow, to move forward. Because in the end, results are louder than hate. Success silences critics in ways words never could. Imagine this. Years from now, the people who hated you will still be in the same place, still filled with bitterness, still looking for someone to attack. But you will have built a life they could only dream of. You will have reached goals they said you never would. You will be living proof that their hate had no power. And by then, you will not even care about their opinions, because you will be too busy enjoying the life you created. That is the real victory. Not wasting time fighting hate, but outgrowing it so completely that it cannot touch you. Living in such alignment with your goals that negativity cannot distract you. Building such strength in your habits that outside voices become background noise. That is how you win. That is how you live free. So today, ask yourself, are you feeding hate? Or are you feeding your goals? Are you giving energy to critics? Or are you giving energy to your future? Make the decision to focus fully on what matters. Write down your goals. Break them into actions. Commit to those actions every single day. And every when hate shows up, treat it as a signal to double down on your work. Outgrowing hate is not about revenge. It is about growth. It is about becoming so dedicated to your purpose that nothing can pull you off track. It is about building a life that makes their opinions irrelevant. That is how you rise above. That is how you become stronger. That is how you take charge of your destiny. Number 7, stay disciplined daily and turn effort into visible success. Discipline is the bridge between the life you imagine and the life you actually live. Many people talk about goals. Many people dream about success. But only those who practice daily discipline turn that effort into results that can be seen, touched, and experienced. Discipline is not glamorous. It is not loud. It is not always fun. It is the quiet decision to do what needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not, whether anyone is watching or not, whether the reward comes now or much later. Without discipline, effort is scattered. With discipline, effort compounds into visible success. Every day offers you two choices. You can live by moods, or you can live by commitments. If you live by moods, you will only act when you feel inspired, when conditions are perfect, when motivation is high. But moods change like the weather. If you build your future on moods, your progress will be unstable. If you live by commitments, you rise and act, regardless of mood. That is what discipline is. Doing the thing simply because it must be done. Over time, that choice separates those who dream from those who achieve. Daily discipline is not about giant steps. It is about small, consistent actions that are repeated until they build momentum. A person who writes a page a day will finish a book. A person who saves a little money daily will build wealth. A person who trains regularly will gain strength. None of these things happen overnight, but they all happen inevitably when discipline is practiced daily. Visible success is not the result of one big push. It is the result of thousands of disciplined choices stacked on top of each other. When you stay disciplined daily, you build trust with yourself. That trust is one of the most powerful forms of confidence. Confidence does not come from talking yourself up in the mirror. It comes from knowing deep down that you will do what you said you would do. When you keep promises to yourself through discipline, you begin to believe in your own strength, and that belief shows up in how you carry yourself, how you speak, and how you act. Discipline also trains your mind to respect effort. Too often, people want the result without the work. They want shortcuts, hacks, or quick fixes, but nothing real comes that way. The person who relies on shortcuts collapses when challenges appear, because they never built the strength that comes from consistent effort. Discipline removes that weakness. It teaches you to value the grind, to find pride in the process, to respect the hours nobody else sees. And that respect for effort is what transforms results into lasting success. The key to turning effort into visible success is consistency. One day of effort is not enough. 1 week of discipline will not transform your life. But one day followed by another, creates a chain. That chain becomes unbreakable. And when you look back after months or years of discipline, the results will be undeniable. You will see the book completed, the body transformed, the skills sharpened, the life improved. That visibility is not luck. It is the natural outcome of daily discipline. Discipline also teaches patience. In a world that demands instant gratification, patience is rare, but visible success takes time. Seeds planted today do not bloom tomorrow. If you quit too early, you never see the harvest. Discipline keeps you steady during the waiting. It reminds you that every small action counts, even when the results are not immediate. Patience combined with discipline creates unstoppable momentum. There will always be temptations to break discipline. Comfort will call you. Distractions will surround you. Excuses will sound reasonable. But each time you say no to those temptations, you are saying yes to your future. Discipline is the art of trading short-term ease for long-term growth. Every refusal strengthens your character. Every act of resistance builds your willpower. Over time, your self-control becomes unshakable. Invisible success becomes inevitable. Success that can be seen is built on systems, not feelings. If you rely on feelings, you will stop when tired, distracted, or discouraged. If you rely on systems, you act regardless. Build systems that support your goals. Set a routine for your mornings. Schedule your learning time. Structure your environment so it pushes you toward your goals instead of away from them. With systems, discipline becomes easier, because the decision is already made in advance. When you live with daily discipline, people will note. They will see the changes in your body, your skills, your results. They may ask, "How did you do it?" But the truth will be simple. You stayed consistent. You showed up daily. You turned effort into a habit. And that habit built success piece by piece until it became visible to everyone. Discipline is also the greatest equalizer. You may not have the most talent, the most money, or the best connections. But if you have discipline, you can outwork and outlast those who do. Many people start strong and quit. The disciplined stay. Many people rely on bursts of inspiration. The disciplined rely on habits. Many people hope for opportunity. The disciplined create it. That is why discipline always wins in the long run. When you begin to see the results of your discipline, something powerful happens. The results themselves fuel more discipline. Success becomes addictive because you know it came from your effort. That visible proof makes you hungry for more. You begin to expect more from yourself. You begin to push harder, not because someone tells you to, but because you know what is possible when you stay consistent. The opposite is also true. When you break discipline repeatedly, you see no progress. That lack of results destroys confidence. It convinces you that nothing works, when the truth is that you did not stay long enough to see the outcome. That is why so many people quit. They expect results too soon, and when they don't, they give up. The disciplined stay. They keep working until the results show, and once they show, nobody can deny them. Discipline is not punishment, it is freedom. It frees you from the regret of wasted time. It frees you from the pain of unfulfilled nonsense. It frees you from being controlled by moods and distractions. It gives you control over your life. When you live with discipline, you are no longer a victim of circumstance. You become the architect of your success. The greatest satisfaction is not only in reaching your goals, but in knowing you earned them through discipline. Nobody can take that away from you. Nobody can say it was luck or chance. You know the hours you put in. You know the sacrifices you made. You know the effort it took. That knowledge gives you pride that no outside validation can match. So stay disciplined daily. Do the work even when you do not feel like it. Show up even when nobody is watching. Keep going even when the results are not yet visible. As every disciplined choice is a brick, and brick by brick, you are building visible success that will stand for years to come. One day you will look around and realize that the life you live is the direct result of the discipline you practice. And in that moment, you will understand that discipline was never a burden. It was the path to freedom, strength, and achievement. Number 8, refuse to break when struggles try to defeat you. Struggles are part of life. They arrive without invitation. They disrupt plans, and they test every ounce of strength you have. No one is free from them. The difference between those who rise and those who collapse is simple. Some refuse to break. They face struggle head on and decide, no matter how heavy the weight, they will not be crushed. That choice is not made once in a lifetime. It is made again and again, every time difficulty appears. If you want to live strong, if you want to live free, you must decide that no struggle has the power to defeat you. Struggles come in many forms. Sometimes they show up as financial hardship, sometimes as betrayal, sometimes as failure, sometimes as loss. Whatever shape they take, they share one purpose: to see how much you can endure. The easy response is to give in, to complain, to let discouragement take over. But the stronger response is to hold steady, to push back, to keep moving even when everything feels impossible. Each time you refuse to break, you build resilience. And resilience is the armor that protects you from being destroyed by life's hardest blows. Resilience is not something you are born with. It is built in the fire of experience. Every time you endure, you become stronger. Every time you push through, you grow tougher. Every time you survive what was meant to break you, you increase your belief in your own strength. That belief is priceless. It gives you confidence that no matter what comes next, you will handle it. It gives you courage to take risks because you know you can recover. It gives you peace of mind because you no longer live in fear of struggle. Struggles often try to convince you that you are alone. They whisper that no one understands, that no one cares, that you cannot win. That isolation is dangerous because it makes you want to quit. But the truth is, struggle is universal. Everyone fights battles, whether they show them or not. You are not the only one facing pain. And when you realize this, You stop seeing struggle as punishment and start seeing it as training. Every great life has been shaped by struggle. It is not the obstacle to your path. It is part of the path. Refusing to break does not mean ignoring pain. It means acknowledging it, but choosing to move anyway. Pain is real. Fatigue is real. Doubt is, but none of them have to decide your future. You can feel them without surrendering to them. You can admit that life is hard and still choose to stand. That is what separates the strong from the weak. Not the absence of pain, but the refusal to let pain be the final word. When struggles appear, your mindset is the key. If you believe that difficulties are permanent, you will lose hope. If you believe they are temporary, you will keep fighting. Every storm ends eventually. Every wound heals with time. But only those who keep standing live to see the other side. This is why perspective matters. Instead of asking, why me? Ask, what when I learn? How can I grow? That shift takes you from victim to warrior. And warriors cannot be broken. One of the most powerful things you can do in struggle is to keep routines alive. Struggles try to break order. They create chaos. If you surrender to that chaos, you will feel lost. But if you hold to small daily disciplines, waking early, exercising, writing, praying, learning, you create anchors. Those anchors keep you steady when everything else feels uncertain. They remind you that even in hard times, you are still in control of your actions. And control is what brings back strength. You must also remember that breaking is a choice. Struggles can push you, they can test you, they can exhaust you, but they cannot decide for you. Only you decide if you will quit. Only you decide if you will stop moving. Struggle may take away comfort. It may take away people. It may take away things. But it cannot take away your will unless you give it up. That is your greatest weapon. The decision to keep standing no matter what. Refusing to break also means refusing to define yourself by struggles. You are not your pain. You are not your failures. You are not your hardships. They may shape you, but they do not own you. When you focus too much on the struggle, you forget your strength. When you focus on your strength, the struggle loses its power. Your identity must be built on your resilience, not on your wounds. That mindset keeps you moving when others stop. Struggles also have a hidden gift. They reveal your true capacity. You may think you know how strong you are, but you do not truly know until you are tested. And when you come out of struggle, standing tall, you realize you are capable of far more than you imagined. That realization is priceless. It makes future struggles less intimidating. It gives you confidence that no matter what happens, you will not break. Enemies, critics, and doubters watch for your struggles. They want to see if you will collapse. They hope you will. But the greatest revenge is to endure, to keep rising, to keep fighting. When they expect you to break, but you refuse, you take away their satisfaction. You prove that nothing can stop you. And eventually they are forced to respect you. Not because they want to, but because your resilience leaves them no choice. Refusing to break is not about pretending to be superhuman. It is about choosing courage in the face of fear, strength in the face of pain, action in the face of doubt. It is about standing up each time you are knocked down, no matter how many times that happens. Success is not about never falling. It is about rising every time you do. And the only way to rise is to refuse to stay broken. So when struggles try to defeat you, remember this: they can test you, they can hurt you, they can slow you down, but they cannot destroy you unless you allow it. You are stronger than you realize. You are tougher than you think. You have more inside you than you have ever used. And the only way to discover that is to keep standing, to keep fighting, to refuse to break. Each time you overcome a struggle, you add to your story. You create a record of strength that becomes impossible to deny. Years now, you will look back and see all the moments that should have broken you. And you will see that you are still here, still standing, still moving. And that will be the proof that you were never defeated, only sharpened. The choice is at every time hardship comes. You can let it crush you, or you can let it shape you. You can break, or you can refuse. Choose strength, choose endurance, choose resilience. Because when you refuse to break, You don't just survive struggles. You conquer them. And when you conquer enough struggles, you become unstoppable. Number 9. Win silently every day and let results speak louder. Real power does not need constant announcement. The strongest victories are the ones achieved in silence. Away from applause, away from validation, away from the need to prove anything with words. Winning silently means building discipline, growing stronger, and moving closer to your goals without feeling the urge to broadcast every step. And when you do this daily, your life eventually becomes undeniable proof of your effort. People will see the results, and those results will speak louder than anything you could have said. The world is full of noise. Everyone wants to show off progress before it is real. Everyone wants attention before they have put in the work. But there is no substance in talk without evidence. Empty words do not inspire respect. Only results do. When you win silently every day, you do not waste energy chasing attention. You use every ounce of energy to actually build. That choice separates the serious from the pretender. Winning silently means waking up and handling your responsibilities, whether anyone notices or not. It means going to the gym and training even if nobody is filming it. It means studying when nobody congratulates you. It means grinding on your projects when no one is clapping. Every silent victory may feel small, but when you stack enough of them, you build something massive. And when it is visible, no one can deny it, because it was earned, not talked into existence. There is psychology behind this. Each time you brag about a goal before achieving it, your brain rewards you as if you already accomplished it. That temporary satisfaction kills your hunger. But when you stay silent, when you keep your head down and keep working, that hunger stays alive. You are not satisfied until the results are in your hands. This is why those who talk less and do more often outlast those who make noise, but lack consistency. Silent victories also protect you from negativity. The fewer people who know what you are working on, the fewer distractions and doubts you will face. Not everyone needs to know your plan. Not everyone deserves access to your process. Some will not understand. Some will discourage you. Some will secretly hope you fail. Keeping your wins quiet allows you to grow without interference. Then, when the results are visible, there is nothing left for them to do but accept it. But winning silently is not just about others. It is about you. It trains humility. It reminds you that success is not about recognition, but about progress. When you no longer crave constant validation, you become free from dependence on other people's opinions, free from the trap of approval, free from the need to prove yourself through talk instead of work. That freedom gives you focus, and focus turns into mastery. Every day offers the chance to win silently. Finishing the workout when you want to stop is a silent win. Choosing to study instead of scrolling your phone is a silent win. Saving money instead of wasting it on impulse purchases is a silent win. Each of these decisions does not bring instant applause, but each moves you closer to your goals. And when you live a life full of these decisions, you build visible success without ever needing to announce the process. Results are the ultimate language. You cannot argue with transformation. You cannot deny progress. You cannot dismiss success when it is clear, visible, and real. That is why your energy must always go into action, not into endless explanation. When the results show, the doubters will fall silent, the critics will fade, the supporters will celebrate, and the best part is that you will not even need to say a word. It is tempting to prove yourself quickly, to show the world that you are moving, to announce progress before it is ready. But strength comes from patience. Be willing to stay quiet while you build. Be willing to look invisible while you work, because the day will come when the results are so visible, so undeniable, that they speak for themselves, and that speech will be louder than any words you could have spoken along the way. Silent victories always prepare you for bigger challenges. When you practice discipline without the reward of applause, you strengthen your inner drive. You no longer depend on outside recognition to keep going. That kind of independence makes you unstoppable. While others slow down when the applause stops, You keep moving because you were never working for the applause in the first place. You were working for the results. This daily practice, the silent wins, also builds character. It teaches patience, humility, resilience, and focus. These qualities do not come from easy comfort. They come from the grind that nobody sees. They come from the sacrifices that no one claps for. They come from the moments when you chose to persist quietly, while others gave up loudly. That character becomes part of who you are, and it will carry you further than talent alone ever could. Enemies, doubters, and haters thrive on watching your moves. They want to predict, criticize, and attack. When you win silently, you deny them the chance. They cannot attack what they cannot see. They cannot mock what they do not know. By the time they notice, the results are already complete, and there is nothing they can do but witness your growth. That is true power. Not arguing with them, but outgrowing them through visible proof. The satisfaction of winning silently is unmatched. When you walk into a room and your results speak before you even open your mouth, that is real victory. People can feel the difference. They see the work in your body, in your skills, in your achievements. They know it was not luck. They know it was not talk. They know it was discipline. And that respect lasts longer than any temporary attention you could have gotten by bragging too early. So how do you practice this? Every day. Start with small commitments and keep them to yourself. Do the work without announcing it. Track your progress privately. Build your routines in silence. Every day, add another silent win. Over time, the accumulation will be undeniable. You will not need to explain yourself. Your life will be the explanation. When you understand this principle, you stop wasting time proving yourself to people who don't matter. You stop craving quick recognition. You stop chasing validation. Instead, you put your head down, focus on the process, and trust that results will always tell the truth. And the truth is, results speak louder than noise. At the end of the day, talk fades, opinions fade, attention fades, but results remain. The transformation of your life, your body, your career, your relationships, that is what lasts. That is what proves your effort. That is what silences the critics without you ever saying a word. So win silently every day. Win when no one is clapping. Win when no one is watching. Win when no one believes. And keep stacking those wins, because one day you will not need to speak. Your results will speak for you, and they will speak louder than anything you could have said.